All right, thank you, Dustin. Greetings, everyone. This is the State Building Code Council IBC Technical Advisory Group for May 2nd, 2024. I think we are starting to see people come in, so let's try to take roll, but we might not have quorum yet.
Okay. Get in there. All right. Todd Bayreuther.
Here.
Joe Mayo. Let's see. Not seeing Joe on the list here today. Che Fortaleza. Not seeing her as the alternate in here as well. So let's put some notes there. Tim Woodard.
Here.
Thank you. Hoyt Jeter.
Here. Sorry, I was on another call, so I apologize for just joining on right now. So it looked like I timed it perfect.
We wouldn't have known, right?
Just perfect.
And I do have to go use the restroom, so I'll be back in, probably by the time you're done. So
10-4. Bill Mybush.
Present.
Thank you. Joshua Mergens. Joshua, was that you speaking, or I'm not seeing him on the attendees list? We'll go for the alternate, Trent Tinney. I see Trent. Michael Barth.
I'm here about 20 minutes in. I'm going to have to step away for about 5 minutes, but other than that, I'm here.
All righty, thank you. Paul Hark. Not seeing Paul on our list. Andy Leonto.
Here.
Thank you. Yeah, 1, 2, 8, 9, and 2.
I noticed Joe Mayo joined too.
Yeah, present. Sorry, you guys really get
Alrighty.
started fast.
I'm back,
All
just to let
right.
you know.
Thanks, Mike.
So with the folks we have in that roll call, we do have a quorum at the moment.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, Justin. Steve Belzak here. I'm also
Steve.
attending. Yes.
Awesome.
This is Trent Tinney. I'm here. Couldn't get my mic to work.
I saw you in there. I think I saw you unmute and just kind of assumed that you were calling to hear.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay,
Right, so
thank
we
you,
have
Dustin.
quorum.
Yep, we have quorum. Okay, thank you. We'll welcome everyone and anyone like to be recognized from the public. Okay. Hearing none, item number 2, we want to review and approve the agenda. Can I hear a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Tim.
Second.
Thank you, Michael. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Nay. Okay, so approved. Thank you. Item 3 is review and approve our 2 previous meeting minutes for April 16th and April 23rd. Dustin,
So
do you
I'll
want to put them
scroll
up or do
through
we as posted?
I've got them up here, and I've got the 16th in front of everybody, and I can scroll
Dustin,
through them.
I think you're locked on your Excel sheet.
Awesome.
not on your screen.
Let me change my share.
Yep.
Give me one moment. Should have been. All right, are you guys seeing the minutes now by chance?
Not yet.
Okay, here, I'm gonna stop my share. And all meeting stuff went away. There we go. Ah, here we go. Now we should see the minutes. Apologies. So I can scroll through and go over them, and if anybody wants me to rewind or move somewhere else, I can do that. And so I'll take direction from the folks present here.
This is which
Just
set
for the
of
record, I
minutes?
don't remember. I mean, Roger, I see you there, but I don't know if we recognized you.
Oh, do we want me to finish a roll call for alternates as well?
Yeah, maybe we can just call them out here. I think it's important for the future minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So Roger Haringa,
I am here and now I am recognized.
Sean Karlstrom, not seeing him in the group. We have the alternate Trent Tinney. Is Joshua Mergens with us by chance yet? Nope. And Leah Sommer.
Present.
All right, that is all of our alternates that
And-
would be.
And I see Che, right?
Yes, Chair
Oh,
Fortuna
you're not.
present.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's important. Okay, now back to our action is to approve the meeting minutes. We're looking at April 16th right now. Any edits? Take them together. If we look at, or can you scroll down quickly, Dustin, and then pull up 23, please?
All right. So there's our
Okay.
16th. And here's the 23rd.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Point of order, Todd.
Yeah, please.
I did see a hand up.
Oh, I don't see it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I had it up. I was putting it down. I was gone in the first meeting, but I called in and told that I'd be gone because I was at the code hearing or at the ICC hearings. So I just wanted to
Right.
make sure that was, so.
Okay, thank you, Dustin. If we document that, please.
Yes.
Not on the spot here, but if you're comfortable with that note.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Right. Okay, now all in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay. Okay, so approved. All right, we have a public comment item on the list, agenda item 4 today. Is there anyone from the public that'd like to speak on something that's not on the current agenda? Our only business is review of the model code, so anything unrelated to that. Okay, not hearing any. Let me know if I'm moving too quickly. Number 5 is our business today, and I'll give it to Dustin for an overview, please.
All righty. So we have had several chapters coming back in. So I've got the spreadsheet that we disseminated to everybody with the chapter assignments on it. We have updated the color scheme just a little bit more to kind of identify one more step in the process. So you'll notice here in the IBC, chapter 28, 32, and 33 are marked as red. We don't have a person volunteered for those chapters just yet. The orange bars here, they signify that we have somebody volunteered for that. They are still working on the chapter assignments. The yellow signifies that we have received those back as staff, but we have not yet reviewed them as a tag. And then anything that's green is marked as finished and needs no further review. So these reserved chapters, we've just got them marked as green, but they're the example for as we go over documents that we have reviewed them and we're approving that section for inclusion in the final draft of these reports. So the idea here is to have gone through, staff needs a little bit more time to put together what we want to review here as part of the tag to make a cohesive document. There's been a lot of turmoil this week here within the staff at the SBCC. We are working on getting some more staff here. We got some interviews that happened, and so hopefully we can get this stuff ready for you guys for the next meeting. One thing that there's 2 points that I wanted to kind of talk about as we're getting ready to do that. One is our admin staff who's receiving a lot of these and kind of organizing them for me has asked that when you're delivering chapters back to us, if you could make a new email for that and not include a string of emails, just so that we're not muddying the waters and we're like just those documents. Say, hey, here are there's, I guess, been a little bit of confusion that crops up when we receive them back, and there's a long string of stuff attached to the bottom of these messages. So that's just an ask from the admin staff to make it a little easier for them to digest what we're getting back. And then the other point I wanted to make for when we get these back and as we're setting up what's happening for the next meeting, so we can kind of get the expectation of what you guys can expect from the staff for the next meeting at the fire code tag. We said if we can get documents by Thursdays for digestion by the staff to get ready for the meeting on our Tuesdays, that we can work with that. And so the ask for this group is going to be that by Tuesday, if documents that we receive by Tuesday can be included for the meeting on Thursdays, and that gives staff a couple days of time to get those ready for you. So what we're doing with those as staff to get ready is we're trying to integrate everything into a master document. And so as we get ready to talk about those as a group, we're going to be posting that master document online for everybody to view. And this will be the reports document that comes through. It'll contain some code language. It'll contain the recommendations done by each volunteer. And we should be able to go through those a little bit faster than looking at the separate chapter documents that come in. And so we're going to be leaning heavily on this spreadsheet that I have here on the screen to say we do or do not have the stuff, and using it to identify topics of conversation for our tag meetings in the future. So getting back to the IBC specific, we have some stuff from Brett Conway for chapter 10 and 11. We've got stuff for chapter 18, 20, 21, 22, and 23, and 29. And then on the rest of these, we are awaiting chapters to come back. So you'll see my name on some of those as well. I'm having a bit of a time getting the work done on those. And so I need to reach out and collaborate a little bit more with Tim Woodard for 25 through 27. And I am looking at chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Stoyan has done some work on those, but I need to touch them up.
I'll have 14 and 15 done by this week. So
okay, that'll be a super huge help for me as I'm struggling to find bandwidth.
I actually didn't see this, so I was actually going through the whole code and doing it. So you've actually made a whole, you just made a huge helpful for just giving me 2 chapters. So I actually have already started, and I've done 1, 2, 3. So thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know. I just assumed we were supposed to do all of it. So thank you.
No,
I'm glad I'm here. So 14 or 15
you're very
piece
welcome,
of cake.
and I appreciate the zealousness to just jump in the deep end there. Roger, you have a hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I thought that I had sent you 16, 17, and 19. My email, I mean, it may not have been a separate email like you have asked for now. And I do kind of have one question still about the significant changes, but
Gotcha.
I did
So
send
we
everything
have
that I have
received
back.
that one.
Okay.
We did receive that, Roger, and just because we got a couple emails, the admin has asked that I just check in and make sure I'm gonna put the right documents in the right
Okay.
place for
Okay.
that one. And so we have received that. We did receive some last minute emails right here before the meeting. So if they came in about after 12, this list hasn't been updated. I believe Leah gave us one right there at the end, and there might be one or two others that came in right at the end. Tim.
I was just going to throw out there, I could probably do the 25, 26, and 27. If you could send me those ones, and I'm thinking about what your staff's saying, and I think you might have sent it on a different string of emails, but I was going back looking through all my emails. I couldn't find it either, so I understand their position as well.
So we will resend out, if we've already sent it, no worries. We'll send you out 25, 26, and 27. And if you can handle those, it takes a huge load off of my plate at the moment. And I'll still be working on 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if there's, so it was Hoyt, you said you had done some work on those chapters as well. If you want to send that work over to me, and we can make an amalgam of what Stoyan has worked on these chapters, and just make sure we got more eyes on it. I'd be happy to integrate those things here after we get this meeting over with today. So the rest of my day here today and tomorrow and Monday is crunch time for these chapters that we got going on. So I have Joe Mayo.
Hi, sorry, might be a bit of a newbie question here, but in the sections or chapters or where there's more than one person reviewing it, is the intent that we come together as a group and kind of fill out the spreadsheet together, or does each group member send one individually? Or am I just totally
So it was
not
kind of the
following?
intent that if we had more than one person volunteered for a chapter or group of chapters, as is the case in most of them, that they would kind of coordinate amongst themselves to either partition the work or figure out a way to work on it collaboratively together. So if we've got maybe duplicative work on those sections, we can during our work session, not our work session, but our work here as a tag, to review this, we can look at the comments from all the reviewers if we have duplicate sections there, but it wasn't the intent to have people working on the same sections as part of this one. So if I guess I would encourage folks who have multiple names on their chapters to reach out to their collaborators and make sure that we're not duplicating efforts and just getting the work done expeditiously.
Great.
Hey,
Thanks for
Dustin, yeah, this,
clarification.
Joe, it's a good question because it's a little different this time. It's our first time that we've gone through and are actually editing code. And I can see that, one of the brute force challenges we have is that you can only send out individual chapters, right? We can't bring it all together on one common document, which would be a great way to work. But we'll get through this first part and assist you however we need, Dustin. Sounds like today is the best opportunity to just quickly look at this list, understand where we are, hear from people where they want help or having challenges, and then we can all come together and in the next couple days repackage stuff for you. So that's really our sprint to next Tuesday, it sounds like.
Yes, I mean, we did set the due date for tomorrow, but
Okay.
as I said during the fire tag meeting, if we don't have absolutely everything, it's not going to kill us just yet. So the hope is we're going to be getting the stuff in, and in the subsequent meetings, we can make substantive deliberations on the chapters that we already have. And then as we trickle in and get the rest of them in, we can wrap it up by our deadline. Andy.
Yeah, thank you, Dustin. For chapter 7, I believe it was between myself and Michael Bird. Was not aware if Tim was gonna be working on that. I've already looked into.
I think
Sorry,
he
go ahead.
just jumped in towards the end on there, and I think at our last meeting he jumped in on that one. But you're thinking your name should be on there. Did you receive the chapter to work on?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
and I have already worked on sections 701 through 711, I believe.
Okay.
That was it. And then the other half was I believe Michael Bird was looking into it.
Okay.
So yeah,
It
Tim,
just point of clarification. I didn't remember or didn't mean to jump in on 7 either, but I was helping Andy with, well, I'm taking 30, 31. He's doing 8 and 9. So you could almost theoretically take me off of 8 and 9 and take Andy off of 30 and 31 if you wanted to make it more concise.
Okay. So would you say Tim take you off of 7, 8, and 9?
Correct.
Okay. I would so Andy, do you have 8 and 9 covered without Tim helping there?
yeah, I'm good on that. Right.
Okay.
And you can take my name off of 30 and 31.
Hey, Dustin, to help you out, this is Hoyt.
Yep.
I could go ahead and just do all of 14 since I just sent you the email of what I started on the list, but I can do all 14. I'm pretty sure I could get it done. I'll have it done probably
Okay,
this weekend.
That'll be a huge help.
And if you want to assign me more, just email me and say, hey, can you help me in this? And I will. Hopefully you
Okay.
get the email I sent you so you kind of see how I'm doing it.
Gotcha. I see it here. I'll refrain from opening it and digesting here at this meeting, but I would say expect maybe some reach out from me on tomorrow as I'm coordinating with the rest of the staff to get some of this work done. So yes, I appreciate all the folks that are stepping up to help me with the lift there.
Oh,
And,
hey. Hi, how are you?
F Rango, I think
Who's that?
you want to be muted.
Oh, it's good to hear your voice. We've been kind of worried, not knowing what's going on, but worried about you all the same.
Okay, apologies. So I think that's the bulk of my breakdown. Michael, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was just going to confirm, I'll coordinate with Andy, and I'm pretty confident that we'll have, I'll coordinate with Andy and have that to you possibly over the weekend, but before next week's, well, try before Tuesday so that we can address 7.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm almost done. Thank you, Michael. We can talk offline after this.
Perfect.
awesome. So for what people are expecting for next week, what we have here in yellow on the screen, plus anything else that comes in by Tuesday. I was going to take a quick look at 28, 32, and 33 and make sure that those aren't something that might need attention now instead of down the road. So looking at our WAC, we have no amendments in 28, nothing in 32, but we do have some amendments in 33, which doesn't look like a bunch. Could I get anybody who might have some bandwidth to step in for chapter 33?
Yeah, I can do it. This is Hoyt.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I've clicked too many buttons and my computer's freezing. Apologies.
And the one that has no amendments, I'll do those too. Just joking.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Oh, no? Okay. And then let's see, I was going to go to the actual code text to look that up. And so for chapter 28, mechanical systems, this one, I should talk to Krista probably about this one. Is this something that for folks who have been here for more than one cycle, that we have coordinated with the mechanical tags on. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. I can reach out
Yeah,
to
it's the
Krista.
the mechanical tags typically will deal with
Yeah.
that. That's a very small. If you see, it's just one page. You know, it's just 643. So it's a, you know, it's just
We've
it's just
typically
one
just
page.
deferred that to mechanical. And
Yeah,
obviously,
fine.
you know, just made sure things worked.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And 32 is encroachments into the public right of way. Another one pager. If we want, we can hold off until we get in substantial completion and see where we're at on and getting the rest of these. Unless somebody wants to just hop in, I'll reach out to Krista. They're gonna get going on their meetings as well, and so maybe we can reach out to them and see if they can add that in there for us for these reports. All right. That's all I have for you as far as an update. And then as far as next meeting, it's my hope to go over and start approving some of these sections. Roger.
Yeah, I have two questions, and I think it's a little bit about whether or not my work is complete or not. We split up between Josh, Trent, and I, the structural chapters. I know that on the chapters that I did, I have kind of incorporated all of the WAC numbers or WAC amendments. My question number one is about significant changes. So number one, I don't think there's a whole lot of significant changes, but what I'm curious, what is the purpose of us identifying significant changes that happen in the code? Because I believe that we are required or mandated or by the legislature to approve the new code. So whether there are changes to that or not, it doesn't make an impact as to whether we approve the new code. We have to approve the new code. So I'm just curious, and Todd and or Dustin, I don't know if you have input, but I haven't spent a whole lot of time trying to identify those changes that happen from the 2021 code to the 2024 code, because we're going to approve those anyway.
I see what you're saying there. I think that the intent of, so I didn't get a whole lot of direction from our managing director as he was exiting on what the intent of these are, but it's my understanding that we're trying to identify where there might be cost imposed on Washingtonians through these. So we're not trying to say we don't approve of the code, but we're trying to identify sections that could potentially need amendments that we propose as a tag during the proposal cycle. So if we're just looking for, I guess, pretty much cost increase in these changes.
In the changes that are between the 2021 code and the 2024 code?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Tim, do you have?
Yeah,
to
I was just
add
gonna
or-
say I was under the impression that the building code board could modify even the new code if the tag's recommendation for a new code change was such that they didn't recommend the change. And then that would at least go before the SBCC. Whereas if we don't recommend they look at it, then as far as I know, they don't really dive in at all on that. So
Okay.
I think it was just to kind of clue in the building code council to look at it more carefully.
Okay. And I saw some thumbs up from a few people from the public.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Tim, that was the question I had last week too, and that's where I raised a similar to what Roger just asked is, I think we're flagging it, right? Where there is significant change where the council will have to review it and we're in addition to preparing ourselves for proposals, and we look at those side by side, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Or I don't okay, thank you, Tim. Because I don't remember simply whether some of those model code changes came in and they're not technically adopted anyway until we have the chance to do proposals. I do remember doing the spreadsheet for thoroughness and then going to a second round with the proposals and reviewing everything all at once. And Andrea, do you have something?
Yeah,
just wanted to add to that in the past it's also been like if there was a change in the model code and there was a Washington amendment that kind of got at the same thing, you can kind of like get rid of the amendment and then just keep the model code language. So
Yeah, we were looking for the deltas so that we could understand the context as a whole, is my memory. Tim or Roger?
I was going to go ahead and let Tim go. I do have one more question, but
Oh, I was just going to throw out there that the first time I said on a tag, they actually disseminated the significant changes book, meaning like the chapters that you were working on, and you just looked at those as the quote unquote significant changes, so that we weren't like as tag members identifying what the significant changes were. But you know, that was multiple tags ago. So
Well, and Tim, that's interesting. So that was between model codes, though, right? That wouldn't be a delta between what might be existing as a Washington amendment. Is that fair?
definitely fair, but again, we're already identifying if we want to bring those forward or if they're caught up in the code. But on the flip side, what Roger was bringing up is us deciding if there's significant changes. That was kind of taken out of our hands by using the significant changes book that comes out with the new code cycles.
Got it.
And at my last looking, I don't believe that the significant changes documents are out available from ICC yet for these codes. If we had them, I think that we could probably get something like that out to everybody, but I'd have to check in on that one.
okay, well, I will go back through mine and put a little bit more effort into those significant changes and study, which is fine, and I can get done relatively quickly. So my second question is, just so everybody's aware, and it impacted chapter 16 quite a bit, is the IBC references ASCE 7, and I don't know, maybe this is only structural and it doesn't impact everybody else, but both the 2018 and the 2021 IBCs referenced ASCE 7 16, and now the 2024 is referencing ASCE 7 22. So there are, that actually is where the biggest work is on the structural, is comparing the changes that occurred in ASCE 722, which we need to do as well. So just a flag for everybody, and again, maybe that is only the structural. I don't know if that impacts other chapters or not.
And Roger, I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, for transparency, you and I had a conversation about it because it was an unusual where, if I remember this correctly, the action that the council took was in the 18 originally when the new ASC 722 provisions came out, but weren't going to be referenced yet. So we brought those as soon as we could into the 2018, and then months later, to my memory, it was time to now adopt them again in the 2021. So those rolled over, and by different action, then the council took those in and brought them in early again. Now they're officially referenced in the 2024, as in, of course, no one had anticipated. So the question is we have all this amended sections of the AC 722 in the 2021 code now. Is it simply a strikeout? Are there any significant differences or custom amendments in the Washington? I don't remember, quite frankly. That's the question I have.
Yeah, I've got to go back through and look. I think that one of the main amendments in our in the WAC were to bring a bunch of the information about site class. Used to be only site class C and D, and now there is a CD and some of those seismic criteria. So I believe that all of that is now in ASCE 7 and IBC, but that actually is kind of the biggest lift on the structural is, can we completely get rid of the WAC? And I think so, but it's pretty complicated because it didn't come across straight through. So
and I was asking, you know, you or other structural engineers in here, do you remember if there were any special map references, you know, like we have in the tsunami maps that replaced ASC 7 map or ASC maps? I don't recall. Were there special seismic maps of the UW effort?
I don't believe so,
okay,
Todd.
Okay.
But
I'm not trying to create any confusion. I just I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that, Roger. Okay, any other conversations like that that we feel are important before we all put our heads back down? Joe, Brent, I'll reach out to you. I'll help tomorrow morning get all of our stuff together. Okay.
I just want to also ask, does everybody have everything that they need? If there's anything else lacking, let me know and we'll get it to you. If you find that you're lacking something that you don't know of today, shoot an email out. We'll get it to you ASAP.
Thank you, Dustin. Great work. Okay, that's agenda item 5. Item 6 is, do we have any other business we'd like to talk about? Okay. Hearing none, then that leaves adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you,
All right,
everyone.
a short one. I think coming up in the next couple of weeks, there'll be probably a bit longer, and you know, maybe at the next meeting we might discuss a little bit longer time, depending on what all we have on our chapter load. So,
Thank you for the touch point, though.
otherwise,
This was valuable.
yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.